What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Patrick here. Moving on to the next question. Dealing with quadratic functions, we have to create a standard form quadratic that's going to have these x-intercepts, 6 plus or minus root 3, and it's also going to be going through the point -7 and 2. Now, because we are given the x-intercepts here, we want to start off by creating this quadratic in factored form. Okay, I know they're asking for standard form, but once we get it in factored form, we could just expand at the end. That will give us the standard form. But because we're given x-intercepts, we want to start off creating this function with the factored form. Now remember, this r value and this s value, those represent the x-intercepts, right? These factors are always x minus whatever the x-intercepts are. Now, notice we're given two x-intercepts, 6 plus or minus root 3, right? So one of them is like 6 plus root 3, and then the other one is 6 minus root 3. So those entire expressions represent one x-intercept, right? They're not just integer values, they're given as exact values. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to subtract both of these x-intercepts. So we're going to have to put those in brackets because it's like x minus bracket r. Sometimes this r value will be an integer. Other times it's going to be expressions like this. So you got to make sure you put in brackets. So what we would have is y equals, let me actually write it up here, a. Okay, this first bracket is going to end up being x minus the first x-intercept, let's say 6 plus root 3. Like that. And then the second x-intercept is going to be x minus 6 minus root 3. Like that, right there. Okay, x minus the x-intercepts. Make sure you put the x-intercepts in brackets. Now, what you want to do at this point is you actually want to distribute the negatives inside both of those brackets. So we'd end up with x minus 6 minus root 3, x minus 6 plus root 3. Okay, and basically what our goal is to try to create a quadratic function where these roots are not going to be around anymore. We want to basically have all of our coefficients be either integers or fractions. We don't want to have any of these exact values floating around, any of these roots floating around. And so the way you want to get rid of those is at this step, you need to recognize that this is actually a difference of squares that you're dealing with. And the way that you want to organize this is you want to take this x minus 6, put in brackets, and then the root 3 you want to put in brackets. X minus 6 in brackets, root 3 goes in brackets. And now notice we have an expression minus an expression plus that expression. And that is a difference of squares. So notice that we took the brackets, which were, remember, initially around 6 plus root 3 and 6 minus root 3. After we distributed the negative, we kind of shifted these brackets around. Now we grouped the x minus 6 together over here in brackets, and then the root 3 goes in its own bracket. And this is a difference of squares. So if you remember a difference of squares, the formula for it is if we have m minus n, m plus n, that's basically equal to m squared minus n squared. Well, notice that this x minus 6, it's like this m value minus the root 3 is like the n value, m minus n, x minus 6, that's the n value, plus n, like that, right? So notice that these two brackets are in the same format as these two brackets. Well, these two brackets multiplied here, we know that that's going to equal m squared minus n squared, the difference of squares. So our next line, we're going to keep that a value there. What would happen is we would take the m value, which is x minus 6, square that, right? m squared minus n squared. The n value is root 3. We're going to be squaring that as well. and then we're going to close the bracket. Yo, what's up? Quick little intermission here. I wanted to mention a few things and we'll get right back into the video. Number one, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can go to the description box and there's a link that will take you to my website, allthingsmathematics.com, and there you can find all of the videos organized by chapter, by section, and there's also tests that you could try at the end of each unit that have video solutions. Number two, if you feel like you need tutoring at any point, hit me up. I'm tutoring students 7 days a week over Zoom, both high school and university students, one-on-one and in groups. My contact details are on the website. You could text me and we could book a session. And finally, if you feel like you're getting any value from this video, if you could please like the video and subscribe to the channel, hit me up on all my socials. It does help me out a lot. If you feel like any of your friends can benefit, feel free to forward the website to them as well. And back to the video we go. Like that. Okay, so we took these two brackets and converted it to one bracket, right? Two brackets, converting it to one bracket, like that. And now what this is going to allow us to do is basically get rid of these roots. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to erase some stuff at this point, kind of clear up some room here, and then I'm going to take this and I am going to move it up here. All right, so let's get into now doing some algebra and simplifying this. So we have this y value here. Now x minus 6 squared, that's like x minus 6 times x minus 6, so you would have to FOIL that out, right? So it would be x squared minus 12x plus 36, right? Don't forget this middle term here after you FOIL out and simplify all of the like terms. And then we'd have minus, what's root 3 squared? Root 3 squared is just 3. Anything rooted squared is just going to be what's under that root. And so notice what happened at this point, the roots went away, right? Notice we're not dealing with any more roots at this point, which was basically our goal this whole time. But now we're not done yet because we have to still solve for this a value. How are we going to do that? Well, we know it's going through that point. The quadratic function is going through that point, -7 and 2. We could plug in 2 for y, plug in -7 for all the x values. -7 squared is positive 49. -12 times -7, be careful with your signs, that's going to be plus 84 plus 33, like that. So 2 is going to be a times 49 plus 84, that's what? 133 plus 33, 166. Divide both sides by 166 like that. So the a value is basically 2 over 166, which simplifies to 1 over 83, like that. So that a value, we could actually just plug in here, right, for this simplified quadratic. And so if I do that, how should I do this? Actually, let's just, you know what, erase this a value. I'm just going to erase it at this point, right? And then I'm going to plug in this 1 over 83 for the a value that we got there. Now remember, this quadratic has to be in standard form, so what you got to do, take that a value, distribute it in this bracket. And so when you do that, your final quadratic would end up being what? 1 over 83 x squared minus 12 over 83. That does not simplify to anything, I don't believe. That's going to be x plus 33 over 83. That does not simplify either. So that ends up being our final answer. And if you wanted to do a quick check on this, like if you were doing this on a test, what you could do is take the x value of -7, plug it in for all the x values here, and you should get a corresponding y value of positive 2, right? So that right there ends up being our standard form quadratic. And that's a wrap for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you want to see more videos like this, please go to my website, allthingsmathematics.com. Over there, all of the videos are organized by chapter, by section. If you feel like you need tutoring at any point, you could also hit me up. My contact details are on the website. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.